Pokemon TCG Austria here, Luca and Lucas, and we have two guests, Fatih Akdemir and Nico Alabas. These are our German friends. Currently we are in New York City right now. Okay. Today's the September the 1st. What happened today?
Shiftry from NXD got banned.
What does that mean for the expanded format?
Well, that's what we want to find out today.
Yeah. So input from our guests. What do you have to say to the ban?
I like it, and it was kind of obvious.
Yeah, it was definitely necessary because everybody who play tested it or played against it knew that it's horrible. It's a horrible deck. If your opponent starts and he plays Shiftry, he has 99% of the time he's able to shuffle in all of your Pokemon cards, and you just lose the game because you bank out. And that's the cancer of the game, you know. It was a very old card from Next Destinies. I think it's, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, two years or something like that.
Even 4 years.
Something like that. In combination with 2012. In combination with one of the newest cards with Forest of Giant Plants. It was an unbelievable combination because you were able to set up turn 1 your Shiftry and win the game because of that. So
Giant fan.
We've seen 2 bans recently in the Pokemon TCG. I think it has something to do that TCPI is trying to, I don't know, build up 2 different formats that they want you to use all of your cards that you can use them during tournaments, and of course there are going to happen some combinations which are just too powerful. For example, Toad with Lazena's trump card, that was too powerful, or Shiftry with Forest of Giant Plants. Do you think that we might see any bans in the future?
I think so, but I'm not quite sure that there are any cards which should be banned. I actually think there aren't. But you know, more sets are coming, more combinations, and I think TPCI will definitely do something against those kind of combinations if they show up, and I think it's good.
Definitely. In the expanded format, do you know how many sets we have right now? I think 21, 20, something like that. Too many. In America, there are the regionals in expanded format. We have the Arena Cups in Germany and in Austria. It's like a regional. You can win, I think, some money, or did
a travel award.
You can win a travel award.
150 euros.
Exactly. The tournament structure is the important thing. So you can compare it to the American regionals. In a few days, in 3 days or 4 days.
On Saturday,
there's going to be one in Germany. We're going to attend there with our both guests as well. We were really afraid of Shiftry actually. We thought about playing decks with Wobbuffet or with Baltoy, or playing Shiftry itself, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing, because many people expected Shiftry, and they knew that they have to deal with Shiftry eventually, and so they started to think about how to counter it. Some came up with Baltoy and some came up with Wobbuffet, of course. And Wobbuffet, I think, is the best counter against Shiftry. Was the best counter against Shiftry, but I don't know if we have to expect as many decks with Wobbuffet now, since Shiftry was banned, because people tended to play Wobbuffet decks because of Shiftry, and I don't know if now that they don't have to deal with Shiftry anymore, if they want to play Wobbuffet instead of any other decks. So I'm not sure if we need to expect less decks with Wobbuffet.
I think that it's also very important to have a look at the World Championships and which decks topped there. I think that in expanded, of course, we are going to see many Nightmarch decks, many Toad Bats decks, and I think because of that, people are going to try to counter these decks. For example, with Evaltal Archeops against Toad Bats, or what is a good counter deck?
Vespi Queen.
Vespi Queen against
Pretty
Toad.
good.
Genesect.
Genesect could be the play, maybe the deck that Yamato played with Seismic Toad, Genesect and Hammers. I think that some people are going to play that as well. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting tournament, I think. Especially, I think that the top decks are going to be kind of random.
Yeah, it's
I
going to
think.
be a random tournament.
Exactly,
Rock,
because
paper,
there are
scissors.
so many decks in the format right now, and it's just luck based against which decks you're going to play in the Swiss rounds. And if you're lucky enough, if you're playing Nightmarch and you don't face any Toad Bats and Lando Bats, you're pretty sure, if you're a good player and you're lucky with your draws, you're pretty surely going to top at the tournament there. But yeah, of course we're going to have a live coverage from the tournament as well. Maybe I'm going to write an article about the top decks from Arena Cup Würzburg. And I think it's definitely a step in the right direction what TCPI is doing right now with banning more than one card, because I think they're going to establish the expanded format in the future. They're stepping in that direction right now, so of course we're going to see more bans. Maybe we're going to see a ban with Fortress. Is it called Fortress? Fortress, yeah. I just read on Verbing City at the Facebook group, people were like, okay, Shiftry is banned now, oh, let's play Latius and Fortress now. I think that this deck is going to be played as well in expanded tournaments, and we're going to see how the impact of this deck is. But yeah, I think that right now everything is just hypothetical, or what? Theoretically, how can I say it? Theoretically, because we didn't even play an expanded tournament with so many different decks, and yeah.
I think we could ask our guests which decks do you think will be popular at the expanded format?
You first?
Okay. Yeah, I think the usual expected decks will be there, like Metal Ray, Groudon, Vespiquen obviously, Nightmarch, maybe Archie's Blastoise because it won Worlds, Toad Bats like Luca already mentioned. And then of course expanded exclusive decks like Trevenant Excelgor, because with Force of Giant Plant, Excelgor could be even more powerful. Maybe we'll see even some Vileplume decks. Giratina obviously got some hype when it was first leaked. So it's like, even the obvious decks are like 15 to 20 choices, and if you also add some unexpected decks or rogue decks, you'll easily get to 30 to 40 different decks that all have the potential to make top card.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that the most popular decks will be Evaltal Archeops, or any Archeops variants like Nightmare, for example, because Archeops is just a strong play in expanded and it shuts down so many decks, and with the ban of Shiftry, like Lucas already mentioned, that people will try to get off Wobbuffet. You know, I think Wobbuffet will see some decrease in play, and therefore Archeops could be very dangerous in expanded format and a very successful deck. I tried it out today and it was pretty good. So
It's a pretty consistent deck.
And Nightmarch is already a popular choice, and I think some bad variants like Lando Bats and Toad Bats will be very popular.
Especially with level 1 now bets are pretty strong.
Yeah.
Do you like the expanded format in general?
No.
No?
Yeah,
No.
I have good memories. I connect with expanded because
For
I
example?
already won in
Yeah.
Area Cup, so it was pretty decent memory to be honest. But right now the format is horrible.
Yeah.
You know,
I
we
agree.
already played Worlds with boundaries crossed on without Ancient Origins, and even that was horrible because there was so many decks, and your result at the end was decided by the pairing system, like
which matchups you face.
like which matchup you will face and what does your opponent face and stuff.
Yeah.
And Expanded is even worse because you have so many decks like Nico.
Even
mentioned.
more.
Yeah.
More,
I don't know.
I don't like it either.
I think the ban of Shiftry is a step in the right direction, but there has to be done more stuff in the future. Like banning Archeops would be pretty good in my opinion, because Archeops is just overpowered with Maxia engine.
Yeah, it depends, because it requires a certain amount of skill to get the turn 1 or turn 2. Yeah, it depends, but I think it's there's more skill to get out a Blastoise or an Archeops than playing Shiftry, you know. I think it's different.
Playing Shiftry was kind of.
Playing Shiftry wasn't even that easy.
Yeah.
The problem for the bans like Lysander, Strongcard and Shiftry isn't that the decks were easy to play. The cards were banned because they eliminated complete victory conditions or made it impossible to even have one turn. But Archeops is, you have enough cards to counterplay Archeops. For example, power locking like Hexmaniac, Garbodor, Wobbuffet.
Or Lysander it up and kill.
Yeah, or you can just like play cards like Wally, Evosoda, or the Eevee from Plasma Freeze. So I think banning Archeops won't happen, because Archeops is just a deck. It's a deck with a point to block evolutions. But Shiftry and Lysander Stromcard completely destroyed the point that Pokemon was trying to reach with their game.
Sure.
So I don't think cards like Archeops will be banned. I think it's just going to happen like the Shiftry thing. If they release something that's in the standard format doesn't have that much impact, but in the expanded format makes some cards so overpowerful. But because since 2012 no one ever thought about playing Shiftry, but just because Force of Giant Plants was released 15 sets later maybe, it got banned. So I don't think they will ban cards in standard, just in expanded when they come around combos with Shiftry.
Yeah, it's likely going to happen. Yeah, because I think that TCPI they have a plan for the season, which cards they're going to release, and they know all the cards they already released. But I don't think that they have an overview of the last 20 sets, for example. And
it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, of course it's kind of hard to say because we have no insight.
Trump card, you know. Trump card
True
was
that.
a complete failure of design, you know.
And they even hesitated to ban it because I think there should have been a ban earlier. Than I think, how long was it playable? 3-4 months, something like that. More, I think.
It got released in November.
Phantom Forces.
So about 6 to 7 months.
Too much, just too much.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, when Lysander Stromcard first was released, a lot of players were like, "Oh, that's a funny card, but it won't see any play."
True.
But with the release of cards like Trainer's Man and Acrobyte, that were the cards, and Slurpuff, that made Lysander Stromcard so powerful to burn through your deck over and over again and get your cards.
So I think that we're going to see some more bans in the future in the expanded format, because there are going to be more and more sets and more combinations possible. So in the standard format, I don't think that we're going to see any ban
I think the
cards.
bans are good, but I would rather not play expanded format at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
To be honest.
Of course, there's a variety in the format, in the game right now, and I think it's a good step in the right direction that you have different formats, but I don't know, it's just so random. They should think about a different format. Of course, it's difficult in Pokemon, it's easier in Magic, for example, but yeah.
Yeah, another problem with expanded is for newer players to get the cards from the last sets. I mean, I think sets like Plasma Freeze, for example, which had some good cards, powerful cards, and even the newest set, or the last newest set, Roaring Skies, is already sold out in Germany, and I think the English versions are also sold out and are not going to made anymore. And for newer players, it's kind of hard to get these cards, you know, without any connections and stuff, and without any friends. I mean, you can play your standard deck and expand it for sure, but you won't play it with success most of the time because you're missing some key cards, and therefore I think that it's kind of unhealthy for newer players.
I don't know. I don't even see a problem in having just one format. Just
Yeah, we used to
standard.
it as Pokemon players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We used to have it like, I don't know, the whole time since, and it worked, in my opinion. So I don't know why they invented expanded.
Of course, there
But,
sometimes when rotation should have happened, they didn't rotate at all. I think that the last format, which was like there was Majestic Dawn, when they didn't rotate.
Great encounters.
Something like that. So there also was a
Somewhere.
great variety of decks the whole season, because there were so many different decks. So actually we played formats where we had like the whole season just expanded format. But yeah, it worked out in the end, and I think that XY on is going to be very interesting in the beginning because people don't know how to play without N, for example, or without Juniper. No. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to play XY on, but I don't think it's a good start for the season to start it with expanded tournaments. You know, I'd rather play standard tournaments and after a while play expanded tournaments. I don't know. I also have the feeling that TCPI tries to focus more on expanded tournaments, because in America they decided to make every regionals in expanded, and regionals are the second most important tournaments during the season. Okay, the third with nationals and worlds, but I don't know. I don't like to see that in Austria or in Europe, because I want to play my regionals in standard format and not in expanded. I really hope that they're not going to do it like that. We have no information on that, right?
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see what TCPI is doing. Yeah. Would you like to say anything else?
Well, I can't mention it often enough that I think that one format standard would be enough. Well, I don't see any sense in expanded format. I don't know, there's always a possibility to be creative in the standard format too, so I don't like this argument at all, that some players say that you can be more creative in expanded format. Well, yeah, but I don't know.
Because there's a bigger
Yeah.
variety of cards. Of
In
course.
XY on there are also many decks you could play, so I don't know. I don't like this argument.
Anything from our guests?
Yeah, expanded is crap. In my opinion.
I think the fact Pokemon mentioned the whole time when they when you ask them or something like that, why are you doing a rotation, why aren't you keeping the sets, they were like, yeah, we want to make the game more attractive for newer players, we don't want to have so many decks, because usually they say as well with the level X, EX cards, that they want to keep the game simple for children, and now you basically have a format which skipped like 3 rotations, so you basically are playing with sets from 2011 to 2015. It's like 4 years without any rotations, and that's too much.
Yeah. So let's see how things develop in the future. It's going to be an interesting time, I think, and let's see which decks placed top cut at the expanded tournaments. It's going to be very interesting in America, I think, because they have a different meta game than in Europe. But we'll try to keep you up to date from the top cut at the Arena Cup in Würzburg. So yeah, thanks for watching. if you liked our video, liking,
Special thanks
subscribe.
to our guests for joining us.
Exactly.
Thanks for the
It was a good
invitation.
discussion, I think. So if you like our podcast with video right now, let us know. Pokemon TCQ Austria.